Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You know what? We'll just start off with a happy birthday song tonight. Thank you all for being here. This is officially the beginning of the show. Fuck the music. Fuck everything else. Nothing's working. But thank you, Christie, for putting this together and allowing us to do this on such short notice. I want to thank you all for going from shoe to shoe, show to show, and being so patient with us, finding a way to work this out. Christie is having a birthday today. She is 29. Woo! Happy birthday, Christie! We love you. And yeah, so I'm glad we have everyone here. I guess since we're just starting the show, of course, we know what it's about. Some of our listeners might not. We are going to continue part 2 from last week we did with Tobias and Carrie Godself. Sexual healing, what's real? Can men and women really ever come together? Why the separation of the one into male and female? What are men's mommy issues, women's daddy issues, and how can we come together to heal these issues? You know, getting real and feeling and all of that fun stuff. So if you would, let's see, you know what, if we take a break later, and that's the thing, we're totally uncensored here. We'll only take breaks when we want to. If you guys have to go to the bathroom or something like that, just let me know and we'll get it going. But Tobias is a personal awakening coach and the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls. He is also the creator of Course of Awakening.com, and Stephen Hubbell, who is joining us tonight. He's a writer, musician, and bodywork practitioner, and studying human biology and all these different types of I don't know how you would refer to it, but a mix of psychology, biology, physics, law of attraction, and integrating that into our regular life. So if you would like to join us, I guess later in the show, if we trigger you in some way, or maybe you just want to say right on and would like to call in, the phone number is 724-444-7444, and you will enter the call ID, which is 131547#. That's 131547#. If you do not have a TalkShoe ID, then just hit £1 and it'll get you right in. I guess Lamby Poo is our show producer tonight, so she will be having to watch the caller screen and all of that fun stuff. So we do, wait a minute, it kicked me out to go to this one. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, so let's screw it. Take a deep breath. All right. Welcome, Tobias and Stephen, and thank you so very much for your patience and hanging in there so we can actually get this show done tonight. Thank you.
We're here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Stephen, you here? Wow.
You hear me?
Magic. Yes, I can.
All right.
Can you hear him?
Excellent. Okay. Well, Tobias, why don't we start off with you tonight? We, this is a pretty hot topic. I think we covered some serious ground last week. But as always, we're just kind of scratching the surface on all there is. So maybe if you want to start out by discussing what you liked and didn't like about last week, or what felt good or what didn't feel so good, and what you would like to focus on addressing in this particular show.
It's a big topic. I think last week's show was fine. I think it was good. From what I heard, whatever, Carrie didn't like it that much, but I tried to invite her on tonight. But it is what it is. It makes my heart sad but I'm getting over that. My whole life I've been shocked that we fight. I think somebody Deb posted on Course of Awakening, are we the family of light or the family of fight? And as we're innocent hearts, it's sad to realize that even, quote, when we're spiritual, right, we still trigger each other. And so I'm learning to accept that more and be more okay with that. And God's really been talking to me this year about that. Instead of living in happy spiritual land where everybody likes you, you realize that you're going to trigger each other. And so I've been experiencing that a bunch. And especially on a subject like this, I mean, we're kind of digging deep here about, you know, the battle of the sexes. I hate to even call it that, but that's the reality of it. You know, we've been fighting each other, been scared of each other, not understood each other, feminine energy and masculine energy. And so we have deep wounds with it. We have deep wounds, and when it goes into fuck you and fuck you too, you know, it's okay. I've done that a lot in my life, you know, with partners. You know, it's like you reach that place where it's just fuck you too, you know, and here I'm going to tell you all the fucking things I've never liked about you. You know that place where you're just throwing shit at each other full on. And that's fine, but it's actually good in my book. As long as there's no knives and guns close by, and you don't actually trip each other into the deep blackout position, you know, where O.J. Simpson actually kills people, that level of it, which can happen because we're digging into deep archetypal wastelands of where we have abandoned heart and light even. These are dark. It's the dark lands, the gap it's called in the right use of will books, which, you know, are really cool. So anyway, these are deep areas to deal with. So, but I'm hopeful still. My little tender yogi heart's gotten stepped on 1,000 times, crushed and chewed up. So I realize I reassemble myself after each disappointment that it doesn't work. You know? And I want to say to Carrie too, if she ever listens to this, she may not, but you know.
I hope so.
Anyway, love, blessings, and I'm willing to talk to anybody anytime. If there's a want, I'm a junkie for God. I mean, I will drop everything I'm doing. If there's someone that has genuine heart love, or even trying, or modicum of I actually want to try to heal this, and not just full-on blaspheming, blaming, you know, fuck you and S, then I tend to be there for it. So anyway. I don't know if any of that made sense, but that's what came out of my mouth.
Perfect. All right. So, and I'm totally with you. I would like to see this war or battle of the sexes or whatever end myself. And I think doing these shows and getting real and getting out all that anger, you know, bitches and hoes, or, you know, pussified, angry men, or whatever it is, all of these issues that we have, you know, let's get it out there, but discuss it, you know, done with the blame, done with the accusations. It's not a sex or gender issue. I see it as a human issue. We all have...
I like that word.
Yeah, we all have our hang-ups, we all have our fears, we all have our pasts, our hurts, our traumas, whether from this life or past lives that we're stepping up to the plate with. And so if you really want to heal that, that's what these shows are about. You are welcome to feel your anger, feel your pain, feel your sorrow, feel your joy, feel any of that. All of that is totally welcome here. The only thing that I would appreciate staying away from is the blame, the pointing fingers, the name calling, and all of that fun stuff. But Stephen, you were not here last week. But I think you may have heard some of the show, but if you can give us kind of a little background on yourself and your interest in this particular topic and how you would like to see the, I guess we'll call it battle of the sexes or whatever, the division of male and female addressed.
Yeah, definitely. I am by no means an expert at this. I'm just showing up completely with an innocent heart and whatever perspective that I have gained through this. I'm going to school right now for bodywork practitioning, and my specialty is polarity, which basically has to do with the poles in our body and the poles in each other's bodies. So we're looking at like higher self, lower self, masculine, feminine aspects, shadow and light, and how we're embracing all those parts. We're including all of those parts in our being as a collective. And basically the way that I see this topic is it's a huge, huge topic that is going to take a little bit to clear out. But I think this is great. I'm really grateful for you guys bringing it out in the open and being light and innocent about it.
We're trying.
Yeah, we sure are. Stephen, we've been kind of getting real. I didn't know if you listened to all of last week's show, but we were talking about some of the issues that we have addressed, either, right now currently or in our previous relationships. Are there any particular issues that maybe trigger you in regards to the duality or battle of the sexes, the divine feminine and masculine coming together, that you'd like to share?
Absolutely. I got tons of them.
All right.
any soul that would be listening or part of this probably has a whole pile of them in our background. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sure, where do we start? An issue I have personally is the whole idea that we can encapsulate just one polarity in one type of gender, in just one of the sexes, as in, like, encapsulating just the masculine principle in a man.
Mm.
You're a man, so you like to explore, and you don't like to talk about your emotions. You're less sensitive to emotions, and as a woman, that you should be receptive and womanly and soft. And the thing is with that is that we don't all have the same predispositions. Some men have more of a female psyche, and some women have more of a male psyche. And we have to work with that level of it as well.
How about I like that, just being in the moment. Sometimes we feel real, sometimes I feel like a nut, and other times I'm an outright psycho case.
I'm all for that, but how about what if we didn't have to define our characteristics or behaviors as male or female? Why do they have to be defined by a gender? For example, I know traditionally, women should be in the kitchen and, the garden or barefoot and pregnant or whatever. And honestly, I'm totally cool with that. But, men, you're supposed to be dumping the trash and mowing the lawn and bringing home the bacon. And, women are supposed to be nurturing the children, etc. But I know plenty of men and women that do not fall into that traditional paradigm and are perfectly happy. So, what if we didn't have to define any of our behaviors, our needs, or desires by male or female?
I love it. Call it. Go ahead. Yeah, just come up with new names like space and light, or receptive and giving. I don't know. Yeah.
What if it just is? It's just, this is how I feel right now.
But exactly, in the moment. But it's definitely a different feeling, yin and yang. I mean, these are our attempts at labeling something, which, you could say that sucks, and I would agree. But there's a difference between when I feel, I want you to ask about me, I want you to nurture me, I want you to, love me, I want you to care about me, I want you to, then me going, what can I do for you? Or, I want to plan something fun for you, I want to do this, surprise you, my energy it's like a different movement of energy. How would dogs describe it if they had a mind but no language? Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, yeah, I just feel that the genders, even labeling, feminine is nurturing or masculine is protective, that sets up, I think, a set of expectations in itself. Well, why isn't he protecting me this way? Or why isn't she nurturing me that way? Or whatever. So I think these expectations, due to these labels, actually set us up for even more confusion and, perhaps disappointment.
I agree. I agree. My client today from Switzerland said she realized at one point in her life, after reading a book by Simone Beauvoir, who was the So Jean-Paul Sartre, the philosopher, she was bisexual, had an open relationship with him, that in his book, her story, when my friend, now client, I don't know what to call people, I hate the labels after a while, whatever, they don't feel quite right. She said that when she read this book by Simone Beauvoir, I think that was her name, French woman, I guess, that she realized, holy shit, 90% of what I am is just because I've been born female and I've been programmed by society that this is how females are supposed to be. She said she shook when she read that book. Her body would shake and her energy would shake just as she was having these realizations as how deep the programming is just by virtue of being raised as a male or a female. So, yeah, I agree.
Okay, because, I mean, just for me, I feel that I mostly fit into the concepts of what, what people refer to as the feminine. But I'll tell you what, sometimes I'm an asshole. And, I can be that warrior type.
Wait a minute.
I know, you're shocked, right?
No, but you're saying an asshole. That's the very point right there. How do we describe you? You say, sometimes I'm feminine, but sometimes I'm an asshole, meaning I'm a man or a male.
Well, you caught me. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I fit into the male, I'm going to bring home the bacon. I can do everything. I don't need anyone to help me. And, something I had to realize when I was more of that independent, wanting to do everything, I was actually hurting men and taking their gifts away because they also love to nurture and help. It just comes different than how we do it. Right? Yeah. So not allowing men to help me, to open the door for me, to fix things for me, to, whatever. Previously, I would view that as a sign of weakness. I'm not weak. I don't need anyone. I can do it all. But that clearly is not true. So I had to open up, I just had to accept that we give and take differently, the genders, the masculine and the feminine, but it's all good. It's all beautiful. It's not, sometimes I am the protector. Sometimes I'm the warrior. Sometimes I'm the one that, has to fix my serpentine belt or things like that where, I do enjoy watching the man do it. And those types of, so-called masculine things, but, it isn't always that way.
Totally. I mean, yeah, completely. Anyway.
When I look at it, what I'm hearing is looking at it in terms of the principles. We have these principles of nature, right? Like it starts from the Tao, the source of the Tao, which spring forward into life, and then we have the yin and the yang. We have the masculine and feminine duality, which is totally natural that we would have that magnetic pull. And then it even goes further. We can go farther into where it splits into the 5 elements, where we have ether, fire, air, earth, water. And even in those terms, we all have different dispositions. So what I think is we have to all find where's your disposition. That seems like the first step. And I know labels aren't a good idea, but sometimes it helps just to know where you are, just to know where you stand with the rest of the world, if that makes sense.
And we don't you think we ring true with certain, I relate to being like this energy for now. Water, fire, earth. There's a description. Chinese medicine is a whole different way of doing it, So what if it could be a fluid thing? So you don't have, I want to undo my programming. Now, in some cultures, it's different, It's different. I realized when I moved when I was 13 years old from Sweden to the United States, I was conscious enough to realize there are some different male-female dynamics here than where I came from, There was a little bit less of that whole, the rules of sexuality and sexism and what the gender roles were. And then 13 people may say, well, it's just different. We were politically aware. Young kids, you start learning English in 4th grade. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying there is differences depending on where you are raised as well, you know. The idea that somehow there's still some in America, it's still kind of a, you know, repressed country when it comes to gender roles compared to some of the rest of the world. That's because America is trying to be a melting pot, in my opinion, from a whole bunch of cultures that are even more repressed, you know. I mean, obviously, like in the Muslim world, there's some serious repression, you know. By the way, a good filmmaker just coming out, woman filmmaker, Saudi movie, you know, the Oscars, they're submitting it for an Oscar nomination. So, what if we could just feel for a second, okay, what is my truer impulse? What do I really feel like? What do I want? What is not programming me, meaning programmed in gender role, versus what's a spontaneous impulse in me that wants to do what it wants to do? Like you said, Christie, with my partner now, I mean, if I give her really feminine stuff, she'd rather have literally, if I got Joy a welding fucking torch, welding thing for Christmas, that would be her ultimate gift for Christmas.
Awesome. Yeah, we don't always want vacuums for Christmas. Like, get to work, bitch.
No.
We want fun stuff, you know? Like lathes and Dremels and, you know.
That's, you know. So, yes, it varies. So let's just, right now, everybody, whoever listens to this, feel in yourself. You can put a seed in yourself, little Starman magic little energy ball. It's an intention you put in yourself, or ask the universe, whatever you do it. I allow myself more and more to be spontaneously sliding scale on the gender scale, or whatever you want to call it, masculine, feminine, these energies that we have that terms for to be able to talk about them. I allow myself to be spontaneously feeling that which feels good for me in the moment.
I like
that idea.
Feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, because, I mean, for men too, like me and my life, people will go, once you start expressing softer spirituality, you know, the programming is, oh, you're gay, right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
So if I go out to, so for me, there's a remnant to, like, my friend Ron, who's very effeminate gay, you know, very queeny. If I go out to lunch with him, there's a little thing still in the back of my head, you know, that wants to go, listen, I'm not gay, we're just friends. If I'm honest, right? Because he's he'll create a stir and have a lot of fun, and, you know, we'll make a bit of a scene. But, you know, and other times I remember Roxy, we're talking generals here, just fun stories. Roxy, literally, biker guy from fucking California, ex-biker, used to run drugs. Right? Raised by a Pentecostal minister. Now, this might explain the stuff that happened. Right? Runs drugs, biker guy, decides to become a lawyer because he was never caught. He was never convicted of anything, right? Becomes a lawyer, goes to law school, awesome, grows a full beard, has long blonde hair with a red beard like a Viking, and becomes a cross-dresser. And, you know, eventually maybe transgender. Literally hot little tight pants, fucking frou-frou little high heels and moo-moos, like feather boas around his neck, you know? And he's going out with our friend, a woman friend we had, and it was like totally normal. And occasionally, we'd go everywhere, but occasionally we would be out in public because he's outrageous with a big red beard, literally dressed in like pink hot pants and high heels, right? People would have a second look and feel threatened, and I have to remind myself, oh, that's, yeah, I remember now. And we had a great time. It was wonderful. He was the sweetest thing. So in that role he played at the time, you see that how a soul would want to balance? I'm a fucking biker guy running meth to now I want to be girly girl so I can help balance that. I could totally get that. And he was doing it. So can we allow that? You know, maybe you don't have to do that because, you know, that's pretty shocking to the world. But that's awesome. You know, you draw attention to yourself. You don't have to draw attention to yourself. But can we allow that gender, sliding scale. Sliding scale. And your soul knows what it needs. Your soul knows what it wants to express. I mean, look at all this confusion and the pain. When we go to the wolf adventure, there's a whole community of fairies. I mean, they're actual fairies, but they're all, gay and transgender people that have not even fit into the regular gay community. They live in the boonies out there, grow their own food, and Mati, God bless him, he started to revive this restaurant, and it's really doing well. And he's offered a safe haven for people that have been kicked out everywhere. And they're so beautiful. There'll be talking, standing feather with his earrings, and he's talking about his daughter, and he's wearing a bra, right? And it's just so wonderful to see all these travelers come through town, right? And they'll go, whoa, he's wearing a bra, and he's got lipstick on. And it's fun to feel where all that's at, So can we just go, I feel people's spirits. And I watch hardcore guy who's like, and they get elk hunters. Elk hunters come every hunting season to stay in these cabins, and then they get taken care of by these guys. And it's kind of wonderful to watch the dynamics, you know what I mean? It's really cool in a way. And they're over there camouflage freaking Ford F-350 pickup trucks, and they're elk strung across the hood. And they come in and they're standing there going, hello! and I watched a really tough man, and then I'll be quiet, I'm sorry, I feel inspired to tell this. But tough man, the boyfriend of my mother's at the time, really straight arrow engineer, he fell in love with Amy. Now, Amy looks completely like this gorgeous geisha girl. But it's a guy. Sex, he's got the full package still. And Dave couldn't believe that. He's like, no way. There's no way. I'm in love with her. Right? And then before we left from the wolf adventure, he's like, I have to go back and say goodbye to Amy. He couldn't help himself. It was actually very sweet, very beautiful, So, anyway, just open that all up. Open that all up and let us express across the board. I'm totally with that, like you said, Stephen.
Let's do it. I want to ask you guys both, because we're going to get real, right? We are real, actually. But what do you find the most frustrating when it comes to communicating with women or with the feminine? What is it that really chaps your hide the most?
Stephen first. I go ahead. I know you need to think about it for a second.
Go ahead. I'll think about it.
All right. What frustrates me is that this comes from a Sagittarian male energy too. And I'm not an astrologer. I don't know lots about it, but I guess that Sagittarians tend to be kind of forthright and idealistic and just want to get it all out on the table. Let's throw all the cards out there and let's just figure it out. So the energy that kind of wants to hide or not show all their cards and that wants to be helpful, but it's being kind of behind the scenes orchestrating, how's that better word than manipulative? Trying to orchestrate the situation behind the scenes. And when I speak to someone else, whether it's a man or a woman, if I say, if I can't get forthrightness or directness, now I'm working on that to allow and understand that that's obviously a viable way in the universe of exploration. But can you just tell me can you access your feelings, what you really feel in the woman, actually? Because women say they know their feelings. They know surface feelings most of the time. Now I'm going to push some buttons.
Yeah.
They know their surface feelings, but when you try to go one layer deeper, most of them have no fucking clue. Most humans have no fucking clue. Okay, you can say that the men can't even access their surface feelings. Okay, women are sort of wired maybe that they have to feel their surface feelings because of the blood and the ritual and the menses and so forth. But if you try to go a layer deeper and go, why do you what's underneath that? Most people are sort of shut off. That frustrates me. When I want to feel, well, what are you really feeling? What's really down there? And that has made me sad my whole life. So that makes me sad.
Yeah, I hear that. I know as, an emotionally erratic, lunatic woman, I can totally see how, sometimes I'll just rage for like no reason or maybe no discernible reason that I'm consciously aware of. And, if Tobias or whoever, well, Christie, what are you really feeling? Well, I don't fucking know. I just hate you all. So, she's just a woman. So, she's just a raving lunatic. She must be on her period. And I totally understand that. It's hard to sometimes get at the core of where these feelings are coming from, or I might say be holding on to something that I'm afraid to express, but it comes out when you leave, not you, obviously, personally, but when a man will leave like a dish rag in the sink all crumpled up. And wet, and, or dirty socks on the floor. And so that's, the rage comes out, but it's not really about the socks or the bunched up wet hand towel in the sink. Sometimes it takes me, a few minutes or a few days or even a few weeks to really realize what I was really raging at the time. So... yeah, I totally see how sometimes we express emotions that, really are not pertinent to the situation at hand.
Totally. But, I think I get that. My hairdresser, I call her that, whatever, I love her. But her and I were laughing because she's the male role in her relationship, and I'm more the female role when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I'll be like, Joy, we need to talk about these feelings and stuff. And I've had to learn to back off on that because she's more private, more male-y, or traditional male, meaning go into the man cave and I'll process it by myself. That's how Joy does it. And my hairdresser, she was saying, no, I like to go for a walk. If my boyfriend, they're getting married, if my husband wants to talk, I go for a walk. She doesn't, I don't even want to go there. I don't want to feel my feelings. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to feel any of that stuff. So that's all. Yeah, sliding scale, So,
I can say for myself, I had enough time to think about it, that when it comes to that, I'm going to start with something that I actually like, and I might be an anomaly among men for this, but what I do like is the emotional honesty. And honestly, I even like a little bit of cleanliness if it's someone I actually like. It just, to me, I understand the language. I can translate it and go, oh, this is someone who really cares about me. And that's why they're expressing all of their emotions to me. That's why they want to talk all the time. That's why they're doing all this. And to me, it feels good. I don't know if I'm weird among guys for saying that, but what's irritating to me, I guess, if I had to choose, it would be more the opposite of that, where it's like, I don't want to, see women into a program with this idea that they have to play hard to get in order for a man to like them. They have to don't show your emotions too much to the man, because then he will be overwhelmed by you and he will lose interest in you. And that irritates me because every woman I ever meet in my life who I grow close to, I have to just tell them, I have to be like, no, it's okay to share. Please share with me. I want to know. I'm here for you. That's why we do the relationship, is because we support each other with, our emotions. So that's my take on it.
Well, I'll just say from my experience, I really suck at those games. Playing hard to get, like if I want someone or I'm feeling something, like everybody knows. However, I was definitely, my whole life, I've been conditioned with that program. Christie, you can't be so easy. You have to be a mystery. You have to let them want you more. And once you let them know how you feel, then, it's all over. The cat and mouse game, they give up. And, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I have put all my cards out on the table multiple times, and, I've definitely scared a few million away in doing so. But yeah, I totally feel you on the games. It's ridiculous. It's, you know, women are supposed to play. Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say the same thing with men. You know, men are learning the game that women respond to unconsciously. So if grandmother or whoever teaches you, you have to hold a little back. Well, what's that book that 2 New York bitches put out a few years ago? The Rules or something? Is that what it was called? The Rules, how you deal with men. This is what you do. You never do this. You never call them back. It's like freaking rules in this little book. It works. It works.
They got them for guys, too.
Yeah, the rules for guys.
Right, they got a book called Ministry Method, and it teaches you how to neg women, how to make them feel like they're not important, how to make them feel shitty about themselves, and then they end up liking you. It fucking works. That's the fun thing. It works like it does. Because 80% of the population is really just very programmed. They will respond to neurolinguistic programming, and so when you tell a woman, like one of my friends told me this, he used to be a party playboy guy, Peter, right? He said, yeah, one of the easiest times ever was I was just sitting in a bar, a woman came down and sat next to me, and I just looked at her and turned to her slowly and said, I fucking hate you. And he said you could see her fucking antenna go up like, oh my God, I'm so titillated by this, right? And so that shit works. It works really well. Oh, yeah.
He said it was the easiest pickup I ever did. I just said, I fucking hate you. Now, he said it with enough little playboyness and enough little cocky play, but he said it. That it was obviously not being belligerent and drunk or, you know, just freaking criminally insane. But, yeah, that stuff works. So the programming works. Of course it works. And so if men own up to, I'm a fucking emotional retard, women can put a nose to my ring, and I'll just fall for it. And if women could own up to, yeah, I'm a suppressed, security, insecure thing, and if I get some false, macho, male dominance, negging, making me feel insecure about myself, that triggers me wanting to feel secure, and I'll let him fuck me. Now, if we could get really real about that, it would really start some really good healing. And by the way, as I'm saying it, I feel there's really nothing wrong with those games at all. Feel it. It's kind of fun. If you play them consciously. If you're playing them unconsciously, it's very painful because you're not in control of yourself. And you're being triggered and used.
Right. And I want to take this back to childhood, right? When most kids are growing up, that most kids are growing up in broken families. If you look at it, the divorce rates are, 70% now? So they grow up with an idea that mom and dad couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out how to make it work. So now they grow up with these polarities that get internalized into their system, that just can't figure out how to fucking make it work. And as they get older, it's our job to integrate those anyway. And that's what's happening now on the planet, is that we're being asked to integrate them. Please integrate them, because we need to get real with it, and we need to be able to be okay with relationships with each other. But we have to do it with ourselves first. We have to do it with the masculine and feminine polarity yourself. And I think that's why those pickup lines work, is because you're tapping into, like when you say to the girl at the bar, I hate you. Tapping into maybe something that maybe her dad felt that way towards her mom. Maybe there was some sort of issue there, and she internalized that and went, that's how a relationship is supposed to look.
Yes.
And even though they consciously go, no, of course I want a healthy relationship, subconsciously that's what's playing out, and that's what has to be rewritten.
Yeah.
So, right on. So, follow the energies. That's really good. I mean, I love that, Stephen. Right on, because it's follow your impulse energy, but try to throw some consciousness in there. 12 shots of tequila in Cancun, you're not going to fucking have any growth out of it. You're just going to have videotapes you will never fucking surface, and in your life. But so there needs to be I'm not saying follow that, follow the dark side, but try to have a little bit of why is this happening, or try to be a little bit conscious. I remember when I was going through this personal stories, whatever, going through this phase myself, God's Spirit said, okay, get real with what you really like. None of the fucking programming that you've been told or what you think you should like or whatever. And so he says, write out your sexual fantasies. Just whatever turns you on, whatever fucking makes you hard, whatever makes you horny, whatever you fucking want, just write it out. And he says, let me see it, God, Mother, Father says. And I'm like, I can't show this to you. Right? This is wrong. And God says, that's exactly what we want to get at, because it's that making it wrong that makes it schizophrenic and divided. So one of the things I used to go out on, I'd go on dates. I just practice being completely honest and having some fun. And because I didn't care if it crashed or burned, I had zero investment. You really have zero investment in my whole life, so it's been kind of fun that way, right? If you have zero investment in your whole life, it gets kind of fun. So I remember one morning when we were laughing so hard. We ended up at the Denny's, right? So we went to the Denny's. And she's so sweet. She's this beautiful Italian girl, kind of voluptuous, big tits, kind of nice big ass. And she's long black hair, and she's just like a little fairy girl in an Italian sweet package. And I'm like, and we're laughing, and she's telling me her story of being blindsided by life. I'm telling her mine, and it turns out she married a mafia guy, unbeknownst to her. She had no fucking clue he was in the mafia. She says, one morning, the IRS is breaking down our door. And I remember her and I, we were both in the same place of just being able to share how insane this programming has been in our lives. And we just had such a beautiful laughter therapy session in the Denny's at 2 a.m. from seeing how crazy it was. She goes, yeah, I had the big house and everything. And I'm going, yeah, the American dream. And she's like, no, more like the fucking American nightmare. It was just so healing to practice. So I encourage everyone to just try it, Everyone says, oh, no one will want me. I say, just get out. You don't know. Most of the people are in the same place. They want some realness. Her and I totally connected. And I would joke around, yeah, I'm divorced. I just went through bankruptcy. I'm emotionally completely fucking unstable. Yeah, I'm completely financially unstable. I'm driving taxis for a living. So there you go. And she's like, oh, I love it. It was awesome. Yeah.
Right, that's another one too. Now the idea of a savior type relationship where someone's doing terrible and you want to save the other person. I think that's a lot more with the women toward men or women saving men. And I think it has something to do with the whole bad boy thing. I don't know if you guys talked about that last week. I didn't get to the whole show.
No, we didn't.
But when it comes to the whole the jerk mentality. I was talking to a friend about this, and he was telling me this, that what he said made a lot of sense in a really fucked up way, is that women want a guy who's a jerk because they want someone like a project that they can work on. Like, oh, he's not perfect, so I can try to shake him up.
Yeah,
mold him to be a better man. But it's like a rat race. It's like you never quite catch the cheese because you're always, that's where the attraction comes from. It's where you're always trying to fix them. Always trying to, teach you manners and everything. It's the whole Beauty and the Beast kind of idea. Turn the beast into a human again, right? And it's, how can I soften this man back up? How will I teach him to feel his emotions and innocence again? And there's some sort of delight in the feminine for that. And that's actually coming from a really beautiful primal archetype, I think. But it gets skewed when that's your only focus, when it becomes, I just want to be in the process of fixing you. That's not it. It's where I can enjoy you when you're soft. I can enjoy being around a man who's more, emotionally available, and I can enjoy a man who's, who can be hard and tough and lead the way if he needs to.
Come on, you didn't say it. Your dirty angels wanted to. I can enjoy you when you're soft, and I can enjoy you when you're hard.
I like it hard. Oh, no.
Right.
Tobias, I liked when you said the emotional retard thing. I'll tell you what, men and women get real and share their emotions a little bit differently. It's just a fact for the most part. But when somebody, maybe they can't express what they're saying, but just say, oh my God, Christie, I'm an emotional retard. I really need help. I just totally melt. I'm like, it's like the best thing, because it's like, wow, it shows me that there is a spark of this person, wanting to understand and just not really, it just does not compute. Big deal. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't compute with me. I want to understand, but maybe I just can't. So that really disarms the situation. At least for me, when people can get real. And, Stephen, you mentioned the pursuing and, the games that women are supposed to play hard to get and men are supposed to be the pursuers and stuff. I would just guess that has to put a lot of pressure on men in general, because, men have the same insecurities us women have as well. So I'd like to see a world where there's no hard and fast rules that it has to be that way. I tell you what, if I want someone, I want to be able to just say, hey, dude, I want you. Let's get together. And, do you see that we can get past those rigid rules of the game, quote unquote?
I saw this picture on Facebook, and it said, it was like a pie chart of how to attract a woman, and then a few of the portions said, like, one of the portions said these are like 1 percentile, right? One of the portions said buy her flowers. The other one was like, say sweet things to her, buy her chocolate, and then like 98% of the chart says ignore her.
What? Oh, man. Oh, shoot.
That shit worked.
But you know what the funny thing is? When I've tried to pull myself away from my willingness and eagerness and like, hey, baby, here I am, I'm all in. When I finally, do decide to, turn my back or ignore or whatever, then all of a sudden he starts chasing again. So as far as the flowers, flowers are cool, but make them fresh picked. Buying shit from the store, it's just going to die in 2 days, so that's really dumb. I would prefer like a plant or something that'll live forever. And chocolate is poison, so please make it like organic cacao or carob or something like that. Okay, thanks.
That's a joke right there, but it's sad, that game we play with each other, right? But it works.
I want to preface.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to preface this show with my experience is that it is brutal. It can be really brutal to tap into all this stuff when we tap into our root chakra security and our heart chakra. We're tying in some humongous energies here, and it's great to look at this play because that's what it's meant to be, but just to keep in mind what's going on out there. This is not to
no, I hear you.
It's not to be flippant about all this.
No. I love Stephen's wisdom. I love that. Yeah, keeping it, God keeps it sweet. And it is tough as hell. It's heartbreaking the first time you have your spouse ask you for a divorce out of the blue. It's like earth-shattering, And,
it's possible. So it's possible to make this stuff work. People do it. There are happy marriages out there.
Mm-hmm.
There are.
There are. There really are.
Really, where?
I know a few. We should take our cues from them.
I want to honor this woman that did what you just talked about, Christie, about if women could approach men more. And when I was in college, and actually high school, I had two women who were really that way. And the one woman was so sweet. We had the Intentional Democratic Community dorm at the University of Connecticut, which was sort of what would you call it, the artist, the hippie. We painted the hallways, and we had the highest GPA on the campus. So every year they tried to get rid of us because they knew we were doing some drugs in there, but they couldn't because we had the highest GPA on the campus. Well, anyway, one night I'm in my room, and Janet was her name, and she would take us out on the hill on the graveyard, like, about 10 or 12 of us, and we would do full moon meditations. It was, I'm just a kid, she's this reincarnated sweetheart witch. And she came down to my dorm room, because I happened to have the bottom floor because I showed up late at college, and I got the RA's dorm room. See, you can make all this work for yourself. Anyway, so I had this, she comes down and she knocks on the door, and she just is practicing, you can tell, like she's breaking through this wall of programming. She's just telling me, Tobias, I'd like to have sex with you. And it was just so sweet of her. And I was kind of shocked, at the time I'm 19 or something. She was a junior or senior. But it was very beautiful of her. I want to acknowledge her doing that. I wasn't able to hang in there for that. All my programming came up about what that would mean and blah, blah, blah. And, if I'm honest here, she was kind of a weird woman, like the wild woman witch of the whole place, very, very sweet. And part of me was afraid. I was afraid to have sex with her because then she'd want to cling or have more and all that, and I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it at the time, But anyway, I'm seeing her right now, so I'm talking about it. And so wherever she is, I'm apologizing in a sense upon all that I wasn't able to stand up, get up, and rock and roll. Anyway.
So, okay, let's go back to the women pursuing men or just erasing the rules of the game or whatever. Coming from a woman's perspective, based on society's standards, is, oh my God, you're such a slut. Ladies aren't supposed to act like that. And so, men, let me ask you, where is that line drawn? When does, innocent flirtation or sincerely wanting to connect with a man, and not necessarily just for sex, because this is another thing. Sometimes men mistake kindness. I mean, just because I smile at someone, or because I'm nice to them, or because I cook for them, or offer them bread or cookies, they're like, oh yeah, she wants to do me. And it's like, no, I just want to be kind, like I am to everyone. So how can we balance that, and where is the line drawn when it comes to being too overbearing, too masculine, or too slutty?
I think a lot for men is if you're too expressive, if you're too, I don't know, if you're a guy, and like Louis C.K., I would sit on that, he's talking about men. And if you're a guy and you say the word wonderful too much, you can only do like one sentence like that in a conversation before you get suspected for being gay.
That's wonderful.
And the way you say it too, it's got to be really low key.
Wonderful. Oh, that's fabulous. If you use fabulous word,
another one.
Use the word fabulous even once, that's it. You're fucked. It's over.
Right. Yeah, I had an incident once where I went to this gym. There was this guy who ran the gym there, and chiropractor and everything. And I was like, I was just commenting my friend. I was like, okay, he's a good-looking guy. Straight, whatever. And I just said he's an attractive looking guy. And then just to be a goofball, I mentioned it again. in the car, right? And he said, you get one mention. You can only mention it once, and then you're in gay territory. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care. I'm gay then. I think he's a hot guy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There's so many rules. And Christie, your question, I've never felt if women, I understand there's a segment of the male population that if you're nice to them, they immediately translate that into, I want to get hard on and fuck you.
Yeah.
But I've never been that way. If women are nice to me, I'm enjoying them as people first. That's just how I was wired. How about you, Steve?
Absolutely. I mean, I always was, even to the point of being bothered by seeing girls, like, dress really, like, provocatively. Now, it's not the showing the skin that bothers me. I think we should all be walking around naked in the ideal world, right? But it's the intention that they're doing it with. The intention is basically give me attention because I feel shitty about myself. I'm not making a general statement there.
No.
But I'm saying that does happen. There are girls who feel bad and they dress up to feel better so that they can get outside validation.
Yeah.
Even that was something that, like, it irritated me growing up. I was like, you don't have to do that. Like, that was my heart. I was going, like, please don't do that. Like, you're better than that, you know? And, just, growing up, I was like, I've always been like that. But I went through a phase in college where I was, whatever. But
it's not talking about our college phases. Exactly.
Yeah, I could talk about my year in college. My freshman year, where I broke out of my family upbringing traditions, and I went to a Catholic school until 8th grade, so I had some shit to break out of. But anyway, my natural state, my centered state of being, I don't think I've ever, maybe once or twice, but I don't know how many times I've looked at a woman and went, man, she's hot, I want to fuck her. Like, that's it? Like, that's the only thing you feel?
Yeah.
Like, I always just felt like, oh, wow, like, she's, she seems like someone really cool to connect with, and then I'm like, oh, maybe this word I'm plotting out, like, little stories in my head, but not just like I want to fuck her. That makes sense.
As I get older,
like that, I don't know, am I the only guy?
No, Steven.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Up until, I'm saying as I get older, I feel more of I want to fuck her than I used to when I was younger.
Wow.
So that's changing for me. Now that might be the opposite of how other males go through it when they're young. I want to fuck everything and everybody. I'll fuck the fence post. I'll fuck the refrigerator door because it has that nice squishy thing in it. I think that's a Louis C.K. joke, I think I stole that. But anyway, yeah.
No, for sure. Through high school, yeah, for me, I mean, my, got hormones going, sex drive, everything else drives off the charts. I felt like a fucking bull. Like, I could just, I was, like, ready to get in a fight whenever I saw just tons of testosterone. And even then, I was just like, I don't want to fuck every girl in sight. I couldn't relate to my guy friends. They were just like, dude, look at those tits. But I couldn't. I was just like, yeah, they're great.
Now, I have a feeling, Stephen, you and I are a little bit more came in with that spiritual bent or that energy. There's a huge segment of the male population that is, just fuck everything that presents itself. But yeah, I remember, So, Christie, your question about this slutty behavior or whatever, I think Stephen's hitting it right. There is a place, obviously, where girls are looking for their attention. I was at the thrift store the other day where I get most of my clothes, which is I like this place. There's a woman that came in. She could have been a working girl, but, just dressing with halter top with no bra and just the energy coming off her short, and she's kind of, you know, definitely probably a working girl. The energy there is kind of like, I want to rescue her, you know, a little bit. I want to fix her. And I know I can't, you know. I'm like, honey, why are you doing this? I mean, literally seeing the feminine woman exposed on the street corner where she's wearing a flimsy dress and that's it, is grotesque in a way. And yet I have to surrender into, I mean, my heart is like, oh my God, I want to rescue her. And then you have to realize that she's strong enough somehow. The feminine is putting herself through that darkness. You know, crack whore, again, the worst profession ever in 2014. I'm sorry. SNL does that thing, you know, where they do the worst professions of the year. Number one is always crack whore. Anyhow, it's not easy to joke about this. But so, there is a place where it goes slutty and it feels icky, and then there's a place where it can be the exact same clothing and energy that just feels different. It just depends on the energy of the person, I think. I mean, that's really situation specific.
Totally. Nothing wrong with being a slut either. It's totally fine. I mean, probably...
Well, okay, can we define a slut? What is a slut? Is it a woman who, you know, knows herself sexually? Is it a woman who's comfortable acting like a college boy or college girl? I mean, what does a slut mean?
I think it's someone who's comfortable with having sex with as many people as they want. I mean, it's someone who can find, you know, find some enjoyment out of any type of connection, you know, whether it's casual or deep, it doesn't matter.
Mm. I remember reading an article a few years ago of a woman that was really honest about when she's between relationships, and she came to a place in her life where she said, I really want to have sex, but I don't want any attachment to it. And she had to go through her courage to really let herself go there and do it, because she had the programming about, you know, I'll be a slut and that's worse than fate and death, you know, whatever. And she did it, and she wrote this beautiful article about, it was actually very powerful, very enlightening, very freeing for me to go have sort of anonymous one-night stands. And felt very empowering to me, actually. Now, so if that's a slut, that's a slut that's slutting her way to empowerment. Now, if you're doing it out of, I hate myself, my daddy abandoned me, and I'm looking for love in all the wrong places, it can actually diminish your energy. So I think it depends on the energy that it's coming from. You can be a porn star with beautiful energy, and you can be a porn star with horrible, demonic, fucking vampiric, self-loathing energy. It just depends.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. I relate to that story of the woman you were telling. I'll go into my college days just a little bit. After I got out of high school, I was in this terrible breakup. I was like totally heartbroken. And she, you know, the girl I was dating, she went and, you know, she kind of slept around right away after we had broken up, and it just like killed me. So as soon as I got into college, I was like, I felt my self-esteem was like really low. So I decided, okay, she can do that. Well, I can do that too. And I did it out of mentions at first. Whatever. That's what it is. What I did is what it is, and I went and honestly, I was just going to go for it. And it ended up that it was not a vengeance anymore. Like I started doing it more and more, and I was like, I actually feel pretty good about myself now. Like, it was like something I showed myself I could do. And then that phase ended. I didn't want to do that anymore. But it was a necessary step, I think, to, like, liberating myself.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned, you know, I guess as we're trying to define from our perspective what a slut, quote unquote, is, you mentioned having sex without attachments. And I know that that's kind of difficult, at least for me, to do, separating the sex from love and, all of that stuff. But is it possible that maybe some men and women refer to women as sluts because they are able to have sex without those attachments? And is it necessary to be truly sexually empowered to be able to separate that? Or, a step further, what if we love many people? Is it okay, or do we have to choose one, and if we don't, then we're a slut?
Yeah, but those are old definitions, Christie. I mean, I think the slut word has no fucking relevance to me anymore, really. I'm like, great.
Except to you or to Steven,
right.
But in general, isn't that kind of what we're trying to shatter those paradigms or break them open?
I don't know if that's our audience, but maybe, yeah. I'm just looking at it this way. Here's a woman, she says, yep, I'm a slut, I'm a dedicated, and she's really fun about it. So you can Google this stuff. So to me, a conscious and self-enjoying slut, I love it. A hurtful, reactionary, rebelling against the world and my daddy and my religion, you need to stop because you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, so more of the vampiric, unconscious, what you were mentioning previously.
Yeah. But this girl I'm looking at here, she feels really healthy about it. She's claimed her power and is enjoying it. Now, it's a very fine line because this is so fucked up, sexuality, right? Especially this judgment on, it would be really awesome. I'm just seeing a group of women with a bunch of guys, let's say 13 guys, 13 women, that's my dream, that we can all get together and have seminars and work all this shit out. And all the women get to stand up, and one at a time, will do whatever, however they want, and say, I'm a slut. I'm a fucking slut. I love you fucking me. I love you coming on my face. I want you to fucking ass. Say all that stuff that's wrong to say. I'm a fucking bitch slut. I'm a fuck slut. That would be so empowering.
Okay. So, somebody on the chat has just said, a general observation, when a man calls a woman a slut, it's because he perceives that she hurt him or said no to him.
Maybe. Yes, yeah. In the old fearful, blame is lame, having to react and lash out world, of course, you didn't want to fuck me, you're a fucking slut. Of course. I mean, that's like 8th grade shit. But I agree, many people are still there.
Yeah.
And if the men, could you feel the exercise I just said? See how freeing that could be if we could reclaim these words, Or if the men could say whatever they like. If men could say their secret fantasies of, I want you to fuck me. I want you, whatever it is. But that, it would be so powerful to take back the word slut, because I know that's caused tons of pain and confusion for the feminine, for women. Take back, reclaim the word slut. I'm a slut. I'm a slut, and I'm proud of it. I don't know. And we're also doing it today, male sluts. It's at least changing some. People call it, you're a male slut.
Yeah.
Man whore.
Or man whore, yeah. But, that's the thing. It's okay in this society to be a man whore, but it's not okay for a woman to, sleep with anyone other than the one man she's going to be with her entire life.
I think that's changing, though, Christie. I think there are men and women that realize, look, like my good friend Chris, one of his friends is married and he sleeps around, and, we're like, listen, you're being a man slut. You got problems. You need to face your issues, So it's not that it's not that men accept it and it's cool if they can, cheat and fuck. It's just not how it is.
Wouldn't it be awesome if men and women in relationships, or at least exploring that possibility, were allowed to actually have these conversations and just get real and say, look, I'm an emotional retard. I have no idea what I'm feeling or why I'm feeling it or how to control it. And, it scares me that I feel out of control, or same thing for women. And just be like little kids. We don't really know what's going on. I want to explore this and, get to that innocence and talk without, projecting on one another or having those expectations or taking things too offensive. And, yeah. I think that'd be neat.
So let's hold space, the three of us, because we're very powerful souls. We're all powerful souls. Yeah. So if you, being Christie and whoever listening, hold space for innocent fucking, innocent exploration, innocent exploring, saying something like, that's inappropriate, like, it could be anything, or it's just something that you would normally feel that is stifled. I shouldn't express this desire or that thing. Like, I watched porn, honey, and now I want to fuck you. That's wrong. Like, a lot of women feel, you shouldn't be watching porn if you're with me. No, I watch porn so I can get hard, and then I want you to come in and watch it with me, too, and let's do it together. Let's watch porn together. What kind of porn do you want to watch? I mean, that could be a huge awakening for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, and that goes both ways, though. As far as like men, in fact, I was just reading this thing Louis sent me last night on Cosmopolitan, which I totally relate to. It was about masturbation. And I don't know how many people I guess 2,000 people. Yeah, they surveyed. And, who knows who these 2,000 people are. But my experience in many relationships is that, oh, well, you shouldn't touch yourself. You don't need to. That's what I'm for. Or, oh, my God, you want to watch porn? Or, oh, my God, you want to play with a toy? And then they feel insignificant. Like, well, why would you need that? Am I not good enough? And, it disgusts them. And they get mad and run away. They feel threatened.
That's what I'm saying. So it would be really healing if that, you could say some of that, feel this right now. We're getting a little real. Feel this right now. You're with somebody, in a relationship, you're masturbating, and they walk in and, quote, catch you doing it. How do you feel? Do you feel ashamed? Do you feel weird? Do you feel a little exposed? Yeah.
I think for that, you look at how would your mother react? If she caught you doing that, right? What was your first time getting caught like? Because that's going to leave a little imprint on you until you rewrite it. And come back to the mommy and daddy issues, I think.
Right, that's the big one. Your mommy walks in the bathroom, you forgot to lock the door, and there you are with dick in hand, fucking masturbating. How do you feel? That's a very deep one, for men. Right? But I started with, girl getting caught somehow, or I don't know, whatever. But feel it. How does it feel? I started with an easier one, a partner, or, I don't know, somehow. I remember when guys lived together, I remember my friend Kelly, at night, I woke up one night, and he's masturbating into a sock. And it was kind of like, okay, how do I feel about this? How do I You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kelly, very macho guy, big hairy chest, fucking girls in the van, the whole bit, right? And then, so it was really, this is really healthy to feel, how do I feel? And you can start by just recreating the scene in your head. How do I feel? How does my sex energy, can my sex energy move, or does it feel ashamed? Or, how do I feel about it? There's no right and wrong here, just explore, but there's definite imprints that have imprinted on, what's not good. And that's a good one to explore. Okay, my girlfriend, my longtime partner walks in on me and I'm masturbating to porn, whether you're a woman or a man. How does it feel? That would be a really good place so you could just talk about it to each other and then actually do it. And I feel the innocence here. Here comes the innocent sex, okay? Okay, honey, I'm going to go in the room. I'm going to pull up porn. I'm going to masturbate. You come in and, you come in sometime when you feel like that. And then actually act it out. And I tell you, you guys are going to have fucking awesome sex, or you're going to start laughing your asses off. But either way, it's going to move energy, and it's going to be really healing. Dr. Balthasar in the house.
Guys, we have a caller on the line. Do you want to see what they have to add?
Absolutely. Sure.
Okay, Christie, if you don't mind, I see guest 28 is on the line. Okay, there we go. All right, welcome to the show, guest 28. What do you have for us tonight? All right.
the Zen moment of the giant O.
Somebody that, okay, maybe they don't know themselves as guest 28, but if somebody heard you are unmuted on your thing, that's you. You're live. Okay, all right, maybe not.
So how does it feel when I say that, you guys? When I bring up sort of, play act to you that your partner catches you, or, how does that feel?
Absolutely. That feels good. I feel like it's communication, obviously. When when your partner knows your intentions and, knows that you're just loving on yourself and they're included in that as well, then it's not a big deal. But, if they're feeling, like there's paranoia, like, oh, I'm not good enough, and that's why they're touching themselves or whatever. That's where you have to talk about it. You have to be open to communicating about it. And I feel like a lot of that originates from the upbringing. I keep bringing this up, upbringing. When we're learning from our parents, right? When we get asked to not do those things. Don't do this thing. And it's like super pleasurable for you to do. Don't masturbate. Don't do drugs. Right? Now, we get asked to do those things, but it's not. It's done out of protection, but it's outdated. It's not needed anymore because we do need to enjoy ourselves. And I feel like any request that someone has for you to step outside of your own self-love is not coming from a place of love.
And that's what Stephen just said. I love that. Say that last thing again.
Yeah.
Any request that someone makes for you to step outside of self-love is not love.
Yeah. That's huge in my opinion right there. That can take many forms. That can be someone trying to be too open sexually, like, come on, honey, let's try this, because it's all good and it's all love. But if it's too much for one or the other partner, that's the pushing rage sex, pretending it's open when it really is not being loving. And we are possessed by these things. I've felt it in partners. You can literally feel entities in each other, and they're like, little fucking alien entities. We're possessed by these patterns or imprints or fears or suppressions or actual fucking demons. And I felt it in women where they have this, fight or flight. Well, you're going to rape me, I'm going to rape you back, or something, energy from their past and other lifetimes. And it's like I go, wow, that's a real fucking monster. I'd like to get a hold of that. But there's a symbiotic thing. We made pacts with devils, men, in our sexuality. And so the growth comes from, like what Stephen said, if they're asking you to, or, if you can get real about, that makes me feel insecure, honey, that you're masturbating. It makes me feel like I'm not enough. Now, if you can voice that and say it and feel it, and without the other one going, oh, I don't mean it that way, just let them have the space. Don't fucking try to fix it. But just be with it as much as you can. It's really tough to get that. It's vulnerable to get vulnerable. Yeah. It's vulnerable to get vulnerable. But that's the place that there's going to be huge shift and growth. There's no way around it. It's what God told me years ago. He said that there is a way to heal it, feel it, and heal it. And it works, but it's tough. At first, you're gonna. I can't do that. And then we're stuck in these patterns called lives, which are just slow deaths. By the time you're 30, the rest is all downhill. It sucks.
I like that you said that, Tobias, that, don't try to fix it. Just, hold space and be with it. I think, coming from both sides, women are taught that we need to fix our men, and men are taught they need to fix their women. If she's sad, oh, let's fix it. I don't have time to hear why you're upset or whatever. We're just going to, get down to business and fix it, and vice versa. And, what you said about entities and stuff, we've talked about this off the air, Tobias, but, let's get real on how, or what you feel from your perspective, how women manipulate men sometimes unconsciously, sometimes extremely consciously, either through entities, demons, possession, black magic, ownership, etc. You've shared with us one experience that you've had with an ex, but what do you see on that front with how women try to control men?
Well, in this battle of ego and dominance, the men lately, the last 6,000 years, has been sort of full-on physical threat of violence. You better do what I tell you, we're going to throw you out in the wilderness, type thing. Or literally rape and kill you. So that's kind of obvious, meaning obvious. It's right there, and it's surfaced. And the feminine has done it a little more jujitsu, Scorpio, hidden in the shadows, is these games, And not that men don't do that also, I mean, all you do is watch some of the Beverly Hills fucking shit, Housewives or whatever. It goes on deep. Not the men. Anyway. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, from the woman perspective, the survival, again, I'd love to, I'm going to try to have her on sometime, my client in Switzerland. What a powerful young woman. She's just turning 30. And she realized, her lifetimes of having to survive, and she said something today to me about it's almost biological for women, you could say in one sense, that when a strong man shows up or he's threatening, the way I'm going to be safe is that I'm going to make him mine, or I'm going to be subservient, or, that'll make me survive in the tribe.
Ah.
So that's going to be a deep, so when an asshole jerk fucking, dominator alpha beat the shit out of all the other guys shows up, it's almost oxytocin in the body that goes, I have to make sure he likes me because that'll be safe, And it's actually sexually turn-on wired as well. So to have forgiveness for that. And she saw this in herself. She's, in a beautiful journey, been through being with women, bisexual, gay, this and that and the other, exploring this and feeling through that. So women then would do all that stuff behind the scenes, the fucking backstabbing and manipulation and backstabbing each other and betraying for men and who can get that man and this, that. And we have to just be real about that. This whole thing about women are enlightened or awake now and the men are just stupid Neanderthals. It's just so fucking unbalanced and idiotic, So that, of course, the men they're obviously fucking Neanderthal and imbalanced. It's kind of easy to see in the men. Duh, it's right there, right? Hello? In 80% of the population still, I would agree. And that we need to obviously evolve that and get rid of, the domination of the patriarchy on the planet and so forth. But the hiddenness of how the woman does it. My client, unbeknownst to us even having this discussion, my Indian client from India, I just showed her a thing on an Indian woman speaking up about how horrible it still is for women in India. There's infanticide, they marry women off, 50% of them are married under the age of 18, and, arranged marriages control, the super sexism still in India of male patriarchy dominating the women. She spoke up about that. I sent this to this client of mine from India, and who grew up, she says, yes, on the surface it looks like the patriarchy, but I have to tell you, it's mostly many of the mothers, and she would say mostly, that's her words, but I would say it certainly exists. I'd say it's more, just to accept that it goes on. She said, my mother is the one that totally poisoned me with, what men are and the sexism and the battle of the sexism and stuff. And she wanted to control all that. And it was actually my father and my brother that finally said, you need to get free of this and go off to Europe and do your thing. So we have to acknowledge both. And I want to bring up one other story with that. One of my clients a year or two ago, guy who was born in Haiti, like, can you think of any more karmic, fucking, horrible hellhole full of Haiti, that has been dumped, the garbage of the Western Hemisphere has been dumped into the poor people of Haiti with the voodoo thing and the fucking nastiness and karma that's going through the hurricane that smashed into there that Sean Penn was trying to help with and all that, right? Him and I had a session. He's a Haitian guy, moved to Brooklyn, and he's a yogi, veggie. I mean, he's just really an incarnated soul that's come in as a starseed, whatever you want to call it. He's there to try to help shed some light on the situation. When him and I got really real about this, he said, you know, Tobias, I can't really tell this to anybody, but I have to tell you when I work, because he works with the inner city people, you know, a lot of black people in the inner city still in New York, right, or the ghetto stuff. And he said, I have to say, it's the poisoned mother of these young men that often is the final stumbling block. The dark, poisoned, self-hating mother that energy goes into the boy. And that's a taboo to say this. And he said, Tobias, I'm having such, I don't even know how I can broach this subject. Either he's doing this, you know, healing things, going back to Haiti and in Brooklyn, and it was a huge revelation that we were shown. I could actually see his grandmother. We did a past life soul retrieval. His grandmother involved with this shit that she had to put up with from the white slave owners, and she had to sort of join them to beat them. And the entity that got put into them through that, and that's the family lineage. And it was, I don't know if this is making sense to you guys, but for him to be able to admit, instead of blaming, you know, in this case, Whitey and the man only, right? It's like we have our own fucking self-hatred we have to deal with. And at the end of the session, he was so funny. And I love him. And he was going through this awakening. He's been a strict yogi. And he said, the other day I just wanted a beer, and I wanted to go have, like, you know, just fucking anonymous sex. And I said, awesome! That's what you need to do. You've been a yogi for fucking 12 years, and you need to break out of it. And at the end of the session, he goes like this. He goes, Tobias, he starts laughing. How the fuck am I going to tell my friend that some white dude is helping me with this stuff? So there's a lot of deep healing. But the dark poison mother that has been convinced into self-hating herself needs massive healing. Massive healing. Because she's the womb. She'll keep drawing that abusive energy towards her unless she can heal that, right? And there can be all these well-meaning men, but it's like you can't help an anorexic because she fucking doesn't want to feed herself.
Right, that segues perfectly into what I want to say about that. See, when we're not taught, when we get that trauma from our parents or whatever it is, and, you know, obviously they do the best they can. They're just giving what their parents did for them. Right, so the way that we break that cycle is by working with our own stuff, and then essentially we have to become our own parent. We become our own parent. And when we do that, we start to be able to see the world through those eyes. And that's the way I've been seeing it lately, is through the eyes of a parent. That everyone here, that nobody here learned all the lessons they were supposed to learn as a kid. Okay, like no child is completely free of trauma. 99% of people, at least. I haven't met one yet. But we're meant to become parents, and when we do that, we can look at our partner, our lover, through those eyes as well. It takes a ton of patience, because they didn't learn everything. I mean, neither did you, but at least coming from that perspective, I'm going to look at you with all the love I got, all the patience I got, and try to remove all my expectations that you will be this pristine, polished partner. that it's going to last forever. You know, I feel like relationships are meant to teach us how to grow up. That's why I think they're there. Or how to grow up.
Yeah, definitely. You know,
and through that growing up, one more thing.
Sorry.
Through that growing up and being parents, that holds the space to be little children. That when you're a good parent, then you can let your inner child play. I think we're lacking space. I think space is where it comes back, and that's that whole feminine principle that we need to, add more of. Is that the holding space? It's so underrated, and I'm noticing status on Facebook. Over 99.9% of an atom is just holding space. It's the same with love.
Yeah. And because it's unnoticed, so I want to hold space for us right now and everyone that we start noticing the mother aspect, if you will, the womb, the void, the space-holding aspect of the sky that holds the clouds, of space. Yeah, just that we start noticing and appreciating. I'm seeing all these women right now. I'm seeing my best man at my wedding was from Gujarat, India. His mother was like that. She was just this wise woman that people didn't notice her, but she held everything together. And I hold space and intention right now that we start noticing. And I'm seeing how, when I called her out a little bit, like, I remember this other Indian woman, when I noticed her and I played with her a little bit, she got a little shy and, got a little blush. And it's so beautiful because I want to bring the feminine out, that feminine, that honorable, space-holding feminine. The rageful feminine, which has all the right in the world to be fucking pissed. We have rage at the male and we have rage at the female in both aspects of masculine and feminine. And those take bodies. There's many women who are just, angry men. And there's many men who are just fearful, terrified, and rageful and want to kill women. That's an aspect of it. But I want to honor the space holders of the feminine there and I want to notice them, and I'm seeing us giving them a banquet or an award or Oscars because they've not been noticed. I mean that's symbolic for the subconscious, but I can feel it right now. Yeah.
Right, and if we look at, we say playing games, right? Well, who plays games? Kids play games. So we look at it, we look at it in the right context. See, the problem is not, we know it's a game. We know the manipulation is a game. All the little tactics we use, right? Mystery method, and using eggs and all that. We all know that. But why are we so pissed off by it? Why does it so bother us?
And that's what I thought earlier.
Yeah. I think the reason why it's still... Go ahead, sorry.
So I felt earlier tonight, I'm not pissed off at it anymore. If you do it consciously, it's just a game. I actually am starting to kind of enjoy it, be interested in it. How can I play with this? Because if you wield the tools with love, it becomes fun. If you wield them to control, then it's, not so much fun.
Right, and if we can just look at them as just that, as kids playing games, then it's a lot easier to have patience for it. Go, like you would look. We talked about this. Look at how you would look at your 5-year-old son. If he destroyed something or colored on the walls or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Now, take that same analogy and look at it as as a woman trying to manipulate you or something. Look at her as your 9-year-old daughter trying to manipulate you, and it's like. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It sort of loses its power. It's like, okay, I see you haven't learned that lesson yet, and I'm going to hold the space here for you to learn that. I'm not going to try to fix you, because how would that work with your daughter, too? If you try to, fix her and say, teach her, don't do that. Boundaries are helpful, but overall, getting pissed off at your daughter for doing something she hasn't learned not to do, probably not going to work. The same, they usually respond better to, no, this is how you do it properly. This is how you actually treat people with respect and all that.
And the same for the man, the woman seeing her boyish, infantile husband who is, whatever, stuck in, he still needs to be playing video games in the basement and has no concept of it.
Right, he's breaking all your toys and he's breaking all your furniture and shit.
Yeah. Whole space for him. Imagine him as your 4-year-old boy. I mean, a lot of women do, actually. But can you hold space for him to grow?
And love him like you would for your boy.
Both. Hold space. Yeah. I find both. Like, you hold space, and then you do pointed teaching. Like, here's, like, I could feel one of Joy's granddaughters here recently. She started kind of going into gossip mode because whatever. And I kind of felt, you don't like to poison people. And I had to say it gently, and she still got a little hurt. And I said, we don't like to hurt people, right? We don't. And so when we speak bad of others, that's kind of like putting poison in their food. Yeah. And that was a little aha for her. You know what I mean? So teaching and space holding. Teaching and somehow whichever is appropriate. Because
people set boundaries with their kids too. You have to say no sometimes. And your kids have to go and throw your ancient, or antique pottery on the floor or something. You're going to stop them, obviously, before they do too much damage. But it's about the way that you go about it, and you can be creative in that. How can you create that same maneuver you're talking about with the jujitsu, with manipulation? How can we use that sneaky jujitsu creativity, the light side of that, for their growth, for their betterment, and for the betterment of the relationship?
Even just enjoyed Master Jedi trick, which is meant for bad, or the techniques that the dark side uses, you can always convert to use for the light side.
Yeah, that's okay.
Feel that. Any quote, so even manipulation can be done lovingly.
Yeah, that's another one. Is manipulation inherently wrong?
No. I don't, not at all.
Are we manipulating our kids when we say they have to eat healthy, or you have to eat, you have to go to sleep, so you won't be tired in the morning? Is that wrong? Is that manipulation?
The loving space, the intention, and then show me, here's my intention. The intention being loving, but that's not enough, because the road to hell is paved with loving intentions. Right? So we have loving intention as foundation, and then teach me universe, Father, Mother, Source, my own higher self. Show me wisdom and how to apply my loving intention. That's simple 2 steps in a way. My intention is loving. Even if I'm fucking pissed and raging, but even in the middle of fuck you and fuck you too, and I want to fucking curse you and all the fucking lineage that your fucking family, and fuck off, you piece of psycho fucking vampire piece of shit, fuck off, right? You going into full on that shit, right? Even if you're doing that, like fuck your boyfriend, I never fucking enjoyed sex with you, and fuck you, I wish I divorced you 8 years ago, you fucking cunt, you fucking bitch, fuck off. And the woman doing the same thing, fuck you piece of shit. You never knew how to make love to me, you fucking weakling. You fucking spineless piece of shit. I like your brother better than you all the time anyway. So fuck you, I'm glad I'm rid of you, you piece of shit. Right? Let's say you're in that phase of discussion with each other.
But you had practice at this phase.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Because you're doing a great demonstration.
I have some experience with this thing.
Me too, I know.
We all do. Let's just admit it. Let's just make it okay. It's okay. This whole thing about, you should never use the B word or the C word or use profanity. Fuck off. You're never going to fucking heal yourself if you can't get real. That's so stupid. This is Lucifer's favorite trick is, you can't say the bitch word. Okay? Then you're going to be hunting for that cookie in that cookie jar for the next 1,000 eons. Duh. But So even if you're in that phase, you can still have an intention of, as I'm in this phase, I really want to clear this shit more than I actually want to hurt them and imprison them in hell for lifetimes. Right? And you can sow a little seed of consciousness, even in that most darkest place. That's the place where murder happens. That's the place where the male and the feminine murder each other, right? It occurs all the time. The cops first look to the man or the wife to murder their spouse. This is fucking normal on this planet right now. If it's not addressed, it will continue to happen. So we have to be willing to go into these dark realms and make them conscious. Bring the light into the darkness. You don't have to bring a lot of light. Just one tiny little candle will light up a whole fucking ballroom.
There's a wise person said to me, keep your voice mellow and your intention clear.
If you can.
If you can, right. That's the goal. Keep your voice mellow and your intention clear. Right. And if you go into it right, you're in it. You have to deal with it. You got to be real with it. Of course.
And sometimes, I have to say this, sometimes because we have left so much power, so much woundedness, so much terror, so much fear, so much karma, so much old energy in these places. What do you think happens during war? Do you think, it's all like, we are British, stiff upper lips, we're not willing to have a gentlemanly duel? That's not what fucking happens in Afghanistan right now. Young soldiers are shitting their pants. The first time they're out there actually have to shoot or be shot at, they fucking shit their pants. Now, they don't usually show you that on TV or at a military ceremony when they come home. Here's a medal for you only shitting your pants 5 times, doing very good, soldier. No, they don't show that part because we hide all this shit in our lives. But we have to actually go back into some of these places and bring the light and go, come out wherever you are, Lazarus, this piece of me, this part of me. Is that a pretty looking scene? No, it's not. But that's what I realized in my life. I have to be willing to go in there, even in the midst of it. Everyone did it. From Yogananda to Jesus to Eckhart to Ananda Moy to St. Teresa to Reed, all of them, they all went into their fucking personal hells. And they recovered those lost pieces of themselves. Is that pretty? Is that fucking, some fucking spiritual protocol? No, it's not. You're going to barely hang on with your fucking fingernails, and part of you is going to be going, fucking kill me now, please, versus please rescue me, I'll do anything to get the fuck out of here. And at that point, both Lucifer and Jesus show up and go, hey, who do you want to sign up with?
Yeah, it's like, well, think about the guys who represent like the consciousness on the planet, like comedians, artists, musicians, right? These guys are they're tapping into all the different levels. They'll go into the dark and into light, but they're using creativity. They're using they're like, it's kind of like carrying a candle through the darkness, where it's like you're going into this dark, you're going into this shit, into your hell, but you have this knowing, you have this way of wiggling around in it somehow, and knowing that and you might not have much choice or control, but you have the ability to create even within that.
Love it. Louis C.K., when he does fuck, cunt, nigger, he is doing more, when he does his segment on fuck, cunt, nigger, when he does that segment, or faggot, cunt, nigger, faggot, cunt, nigger, when he does that segment, he's doing more to heal this planet because he manages to do that in a public situation without offending people and getting people to laugh. He does more to heal this planet than all the fucking diplomacy our State Department has ever done combined. When fucking, what's his name, Little Richard has to fucking put eyeshadow on and, he's gay because he'll get lynched. When he's singing, get out of the kitchen, Robbie, the pots and pans, Tutti Frutti, and he says, the other line to that was good booty, but I couldn't do that at the time. So when he starts that whole thing in 1955, he fucking saved this planet from World War III. You've heard me say it before. Yeah. So is there a way I can?
Oh, so you mentioned Louis.
I'm being harsh right now because it gets the point into our minds. I'm doing direct ego confrontation with it right now. But Louis C.K. and the artists and Leonard Cohen and Richard Pryor and fucking everybody, they're all doing it back door because if they do it front door, you'd fucking shoot them in the head.
Yeah, and I remember Louis even talking about, he talks about his body sometimes during his hits, and because he's talking about the marriage, he's like, I didn't know to maintain any of this. And I didn't know how to keep up on any of this, you know. You know, like if I don't have a wife, like I'm gonna get mad pussy or something. Or what he's doing is because he's not like Louis really not. He's not a bad looking guy. He's not like he doesn't have like a terrible body type or anything. But he's taking the collected perception of that middle-aged guy with balding. Whatever, and he's making it right. He's like looking at himself and he's going like, you know, he's like making fun of like sweat dripping down and during sex and all that stuff. He's like making fun of his own body. He's loosening up all our perceptions and going. It's funny. It's okay. It's okay to look like this, you know, because he's sort of like the average. He's kind of like the average middle-aged guy kind of look.
I love this. I was just telling someone today, this guy's the best thing going right now. I love him. Yeah, he talks about that whole uncomfortable area, his groin area. It's a big sweaty. Just a big sweaty. It's just a big uncomfortable, itchy, rashy, sweaty mess down here. I would prefer not even have to deal with it at all. I mean, how do I actually create a river flowing down my ass crack? I don't know. How does that work? I mean, what the hell is wrong with it? Yeah, I don't know.
He's talking about his wife. He's saying, he says that he catches himself thinking about her, going like, I can't believe she's not fucking me. Why isn't she fucking me anymore? And then he looks at himself and he goes, you know, I've actually grown a lot from marriage. You know, I started to realize, how did she ever fuck me in the first place? Like, she could have enjoyed most of those times.
Most of those times were mercy fucks. I remember that now.
I'm not saying anything.
That's Christie.
He's like, yeah, maybe he'll leave me alone now. I'll just play dead fish for a few moments, and yeah, then I won't have to deal with him ever again.
I've never done, Christie, you've never done that in your life, have you?
I have, yes. I've had obligatory sex. I've done it all. Almost.
I was joking. Yeah. Every woman, practically. Yeah.
Has any guy ever had obligatory sex?
Yeah. You watch the Ray Charles movie.
Why can't you do it? It's like, are you impotent? What's wrong? You don't have the drive to keep going?
What's wrong with you?
Had that?
You're a fucking faggot? What are you, a faggot? Huh?
Right.
You can't have sex when you don't like women?
Right. I'm loaded energy.
Yeah. In the movie of Ray Charles, where Jamie Foxx plays Ray Charles, and when as he's starting Ray Charles in his life, he has to fuck the woman that owns the first bar. He starts playing, and he stays in the room, and she calls it laying the pipe, and she would just dominate him and tell him, "Yep, it's time to lay the pipe." They put that in the movie as well, which is, I thought, pretty cool that they had the guts to do that. Yeah, so yeah, for sure, men have been bullied into sex.
Yeah. So how do we get past all of this? The scenario that you so eloquently described a few minutes ago, Tobias, the screaming, the yelling, I hate you and fuck you and blah, 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 that too. How can we go through those scenarios, letting the rage out without it triggering our ego and then just calling it quits? And that's not to say sometimes maybe it, that is the catalyst to finally have the balls to say, okay, enough is enough. But most oftentimes it's like what I described. Oh, you left your socks on the floor. Now I'm going to freak out on you, even though that has absolutely nothing to do with how I'm really feeling. What can we do if we find ourselves in that scenario?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, hang on. We have all been blocked out of the chat and the caller line, so Christie is coming to the rescue again and trying to call one of the callers that couldn't get through. So I guess that's what the ringing is. But maybe if you can just answer that question, and if the caller's there, then we'll get to the call right after this. Yeah. So how do we say we find ourselves in that scenario and we realize that, okay, we're just venting. I didn't really mean this. How do we get past that, triggering of our ego and running away and throwing it all away in an instant?
Sometimes it's impossible. In my experience in this lifetime, when I've gotten to that place where it's very real, some of my other partners have not, or I don't blame anybody there. It hasn't worked for us to work through it. It hasn't worked. We've separated or gotten divorced. Other times I've had partners hang in there and go, I've had magic happen. Joy and I had a fight when we first met, where I just was like pushing the boundaries because I'm like, I can't be with this energy. There's no fucking way. I want to be alone. I don't want to have a relationship. And so I just pushed the boundaries, and it was full on terror. She's crying. We're driving. She's crying and feeling freaked out. And she's never felt this stuff, and I'm just feeling this is impossible. Okay, it's over. Let's turn around. Let's fucking go home. We're going on a trip. And I said, let's just go home. It's over. I'll give you your keys back. We're all done. You're going to see each other and all that done. And we got about 20 minutes after we turned around. I just said out loud in front of her. I said out loud, God, if there's a miracle here or there's something that needs to shift, I ask you to help us. Or to be here, whatever is right. Something happened. It felt like a diving bell, or some energy that came over us while we were driving on the highway north of Tucson, in the van. And something miraculous happened where it just completely erased our grief, our hopelessness, our anger, our whatever it was that had surfaced in us. And I pulled over. I had to pull over, and I looked at her and I go, how are you feeling? I said, I'm feeling completely like erased. My whole mind just got erased. And I feel all this peace inside me. And she said, I do too. And I said, okay. So I guess we're going to turn around again and keep going. So grace, I would call that grace. You can call out to the universe, God's source for grace. That's one thing. I got other things, but what do you think, Steve?
Well, what I want to say was that I don't want to feed it into the much attention, but I have to say this, that I have never felt a worse pain than heartbreak. Never in my whole life. That's the worst. So when it comes to this stuff, a lot of locked and loaded energies here that are way deep inside our consciousness that we never touch, like never, unless we fall in love. Unless we fall in love and have sex with each other.
Yes.
That's when it comes out. And then when we lose that, what I thought it was, I was talking to my brother about this, because he was going through a heartbreak the same time I was, and I think what it is it's a reminder of our disconnectedness from source. Because we go, well, when we fall in love and we have the sex and the security, all that stuff, it's such a drug, it's a chemical cocktail we're indulging in. So when we do that, basically getting like full amplitude of our source energy, of our Godself. That's what I think it is. And when we lose that, we lose the drug, it's like this terrible reminder of how we came to this planet and separated ourselves from source. It's basically like, oh no, this all over again. That's what it feels like, and it's a terrible feeling. It's fucking awful. It's not to be minimized, whatever. But what I think it is, I think the only way, I don't want to say the only way, but the way that I found to help erase it, to help rewrite it, is to start by just not having as many expectations. Like, you're going to have expectations. Either, I mean, we're human. We have expectations. We have expectations of the way people treat us. You know, so try to lessen the expectations and look at your own emotions as your children. Your children begging up at you for the TV remote when it's time to go to bed. That's what your emotions are. And they want you to pay attention to them. They want you to listen to them and find ways to relate to them and love on them. And then when we do that with our own emotions, then we can practice that with our partner. And we can practice that with their emotions and the way we operate with them. So that takes just a ton of patience and practice. And I don't think there's an easy way to get to it. I think you have to go in at first and just say, I'm going to do my best. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I agree. No easy way, especially when we think we're in touch with our feelings or emotions, and we really aren't as in touch as we think we are.
And the universe, the universe will teach us, but we can have some methodology too. That we can do a whole hours on methodology, like learning to actually talk to each other and go, I'm feeling really triggered right now. I'm having this, making it okay in a relationship, to be able to make it safe and okay to say, I'm really triggered. I'm feeling all these feelings right now. And that I just did that with Joy today. She came home, I had some stuff going on in my energy, and I said, look, I'm just having some stuff percolating up in me. And then she walks in the door, so I'm just saying, don't take it personally. It's not against you. So if I'm feeling distant or weird right now, I'm just feeling inside me. That's really helpful. You know, to actually be able to just say that. And then if both of you are like interested in exploring the shadow side and healing stuff, that's fucking awesome to find a partner like that. You know, not everyone is. So we have a rule too with Jenna. It's like, if I'm all triggered up, it doesn't mean she has to drop everything she's got going on to freaking help me. She can go, I hear you, I'm not available, and I can't help you right now. And we made that okay. Because otherwise, it's like, if you love me, you would fucking help me, you know? And so there's all kinds of, you can have learning in your moments of clearness, because once you're in the battle, you're like, I have no fucking clue what to do. So once you're back out of the battle, you can discuss it and go, listen, how about next time we try this, or we try like, right in the moment, I'm going to try to breathe and go, okay, God, be here right now with us, like that miracle that we had happen. Or, okay, I'm going to try to just listen for a while and not say anything. Or if I'm venting, we might try humor. We've tried that sometimes, like just to fucking make fun of each other in the middle of it. I mean, that's really great, because you can really piss people off. Right? You know? I remember one of the most healing times ever was a lady made fun of all my fucking grief. I was doing this course called Avatar, and I'm deep in some existential fucking pain. It's stuck. It's a huge barb. It's some ancient karma thing. And the guy I'm working with is like falling asleep. The energy's so strong. He's like, I can't take it. It's fucking it. And so this trainer, the woman who helped run the class, stepped in, and I'll do it with you, Tobias. And as I'm going into this huge grief, I'm starting to cry and sob, and it's like fucking hopelessness of life, and why did God create us? I can't even remember. But stuff like that, she just starts laughing at me. And at one point she goes, she does this to me. She goes, I'm in huge grief. And she goes like this. There's a pause for a second, and then she goes, wah, wah, wah. right? And it stunned. It fucking stunned my ego. It stunned my soul. And at first I was just stunned because it was so inappropriate from programming. And then we went into this huge laughter. Like, fuck, I was laughing. I was going to pop a blood vessel behind my eyeball. And it was perfect because she was just intuitive. She dropped into intuitiveness and said, do with me what you will, God. And she did the wah, 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 poor Tobias. And it was perfect. It truly, I was just like, it shifted something. It was like Zen in the art of smacking your friend on the ass or something. It was perfect. So that's another one.
Why are musicians and artists and comedians so popular? Why do they get the front stage for humanity? It's because of their ability to take the dark, take all the shit, take the love too. They take the good stuff too, and they're creative with it. They just bring it to the surface and they make light of the comedian. They make light of it. All the shit that's why we laugh. We're laughing at ourselves because of our subconscious habits, right?
And it's good. Yeah. And it's good that we're dissecting it. It's like some musicians and authors and musicians, they're like superstitious. They go, I don't want to analyze my creative process. Like, we're superstitious about it. But the time has come on Earth, actually, all things shall be revealed. So we're even going to dissect how this shit works, and then be able to apply it. The time has come on Earth, actually, it's okay. It's okay to include the mind. It's okay to include the ego. It's okay now. Instead of it just being this weird mystery process, that's what I'm interested in. It turns me on. I get fucking excited and energized in playing with the energy. As an artist is awesome. Love it. But also taking it all the way to vulnerability, and also what we're doing right now, just mentally explaining it. That's awesome. Because all is going to be revealed at this point, for those that want it.
And right, exactly. And I feel like also, you mentioned that part about when you were with Joy, and you didn't feel in a good mood or whatever, you were like just letting her know you weren't receptive. That's really important, because now with things opening and being honest and being truthful and transparent, it's important to also allow someone to be closed. It's okay to be closed off. That's an okay response. Our body has a natural mechanism to protect itself from whatever it is. It knows what it's doing. Our bodies know what they're doing. We learned about this in cranial anatomy class at the school I'm going to, where the backside of our bodies, basically, it evolved from some type of fish you were talking about, and it's called like the dorsal appendage, I don't know, something like that. But it has an ability to protect something that feels unpleasant. So what your body does, something feels unpleasant, and it goes and it hides it. That's why we have so much back pain. So we're hiding our unpleasant emotions there. And that's okay. That's a natural response. That's not something where we've got to pry it back open. That's not how you do it. It opens when it's ready to open. The energy knows what it's doing.
Thank the body for being willing to hold those things all these years. The body has been your bodyguard when you've been fucking absent. You've been an absentee landlord, and at least your body's been trying to keep the house going. And so it has had to hold all this stuff, suppressed emotions, unprocessed stuff, and it's done an amazing job. And so feeling that, yes, it's really important to know I want to make up with my body, which I'm doing. That's the inner body awakening. That's what that whole thing is about. It's to feel the energies as you can. I'm not available right now. So Joy and I try to have that. We forget it sometimes, but I could say I don't forget it so much now, but it still is annoying if one of us can say, look, I'm not available for that right now. Or I hear you're in pain, but not to feel any guilt or obligation that I should be here to help you process it all. No, I'm okay with that. I will actually say, look, I'm having this stuff I want to deal with, and do you feel like sitting with me for a minute? And she goes, no, I really can't. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. I'll just go in my room and do it by myself. It's fine. That's a real freedom to not have that expectation on each other, whether it's you should have sex with me and not masturbate, or you should heal your stuff by yourself or with me. It's the same thing.
And that's exactly what I do with my bodywork practitioning. Like the polarity therapy is basically that. We show up without any expectations, and whoever it is you're working on, they explain what they're going through, the emotions that I'm feeling. You start just by holding space. Like I started every session with just at least 5 minutes of just holding space. I sometimes think that's the most important part of the whole session.
I love that.
So that's the whole thing. Our emotions know what they're doing. Not all of them want to express right now. It would actually be a dangerous eruption that they all express right now. But we were talking about spiritual puberty, right?
Right.
That's right. What were we saying? The explosive emotional eruptions and abandoning of everything you once knew. Not all our emotions need to be dealt with right now.
Feel the freedom of that. Yep, I have this issue, I have this stuff, and, right, you're like, just like if your body tries to heal everything at once, it goes into toxic shock. If you get too many infections, your body will literally kill you because it's trying to rescue you. So if you do spiritual machoism and say, I should heal all this stuff right now, you can hurt yourself. So it's, proceed at a timely pace. I ask God source all the time. Bring up the issues that I'm ready to deal with in a timely manner. I prefer to have not so much drama as possible, please. Thank you, Santa Claus.
Do it now.
Right.
Okay,
when
gentlemen.
it first starts, sometimes it feels like a kamikaze mission you're on. Like, just to get out every fucking little thing that you've ever felt in your life, just revisit it. And you're like, what the fuck? I thought I already dealt with all this stuff. And it comes back.
Yeah. And then after a while, you reach a place where you enjoy more and more just, okay, this is what's happening right now. The Eckhart told you're just right with it. Yep, here's the issue again. I don't worry so much anymore. I love that. It's like, back again. I feel right now I'm like wanting to talk to the person who came up with aging. Who the fuck did that? I want to get in a closed room with you and we and my buddies because that fucking sucks. Who the fuck came up with aging? Really? Aging? Really? Energy lives forever and we come up with fucking slowly dying bodies. Who the fuck came up with that?
You did.
I hate that answer, you fucker.
I feel like I'm eavesdropping in a men's locker room.
Good deal. No, men's locker rooms are nowhere near like this.
That's true. Gentlemen, we do have another gentleman that would like to join the chat in the spiritual locker room. So if you're still there... Yeah, if you're still there, Russ, I know you had some questions and such. And I just want to say this. I am unable to get into the chat or anything related to TalkShoe. So if you are still in the chat room and maybe you get kicked out, you can go to Soul Journeys Radio and click on the Listen Live. We have a player there that you can continue to listen to the show, and then a chat room as well. But if you're posting any questions in the chat room, I don't know where it's going, but it's not getting to us. So thank you again, Christie, for everything that you are doing to make this show happen tonight, and for calling people who were trying to call in and also couldn't get through. So, Russ, welcome. What do you have for us tonight? Welcome to the locker room.
And 20 minutes, anyway, it's crazy. Thank you all for having me tonight. And you guys are, first, I just want to say a couple things first. I know we have some questions, but I love sex. Sex is awesome. I lived for 30 years. And that was the whole goal. And I learned how to get it, and I never had to walk away from it, you know. It wasn't always a heartbreak. And, you know, we're talking about this God, and, you know, there's a lot of things written about this God by all the different geographical locations, you know, a lot of different peoples. But one of those books talk about this God. His favorite men had, you know, 700 wives and 1,100 concubines. It surely can't be any lawful sex. Can we agree on that?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, actually.
Could you repeat that part, Russ?
Wow. Is hearing the mic right here better?
You're loud enough. You could maybe back off the mic, I think.
Maybe it's too close or anything like that together. Maybe I'm just...
That's a little better.
Yeah, that's better. It was a little muffled.
So go ahead. The
content is energy. You can probably be loud. I'll just have energy. Well, I hate to repeat what I said, but the point is that what you guys have discussed and what I've listened to, you know, God, whatever we see that energy as, doesn't have anything to do with sex, in my opinion anyway. But I did live for that purpose for 30 years, and there was always one involved. This seemed to say that trust was something that was missing for myself, or from the mate that I had at the time. And in the end, over the 30 years, I found myself feeling very, very empty and very, very alone. And just over the last 17 years, I've been looking for the answers and looking for what is right and what isn't right. And so that's the baseline to raise the questions for the discussions, and I recognize, and I do get a part of them with listen, but are we not more than animals? Not better than animals, just more than animals. And would it be more important to seek out unconditional love to be able to receive it and give it? Because in my observation, I found that people have a real difficult time accepting unconditional love. And I know that it's been a challenging journey for me over the last 17 years to achieve some semblance of a understanding or awareness of it to start walking in the comfort of it. And then after you said it tonight, it's often spoken of living in the moment and to let go of our expectations.
So you're talking about accepting unconditional love and how a lot of people have a hard time with that. My perspective on that is that whenever we receive a whole lot of love, way more love than we're used to receiving, it tends to make us feel a little bit insane. It kind of drives us off the charts because we're not used to that level here on Earth. Most of us are not. Okay? And I feel like when we get to that level, when we're receiving so much, it's soul wrenching. It's like this shock to your system. I'm like, oh, whoa, this is real. This is more of the way things really are. It's more, this loving space. And it's like something that we have to abandon to even come here, And I feel like that's what we're trying to reconnect to. We have to do it slowly.
But it's not hear you say that, Steve. Go ahead, Tobias, please.
I was just going to say, sometimes I think what we consider unconditional love is really what we think love should look like, or what would give us temporary sort of fluffy enjoyment. I think receiving the fullness of God is so wise about only giving us what we can handle or a little bit extra, and it confuses us and we get all orgasmic and over fanatic about something. But I also think that Steve and I, what we're talking about tonight, is not separating sexuality from the unconditional Holy Ghost, Spirit, Kundalini, Source love, but rather, is there a way we can start offering a new model on Earth that actually includes both? We're not separating agape love or Holy holy love or spiritual love from sexual love, but rather is it chemical? Yeah.
It's good because, you know, the way that she shows love is cooking, and I have particular ways of showing love, and a lot of people have particular ways of showing love. Would it not be wiser to spread that across the whole range, not just sex? Again, I ponder and raise the question, is sex so important? Is it the most important thing? And I recognize it occupies at a time, but I remember a time that it didn't. And I remember a time when crime was much less and poverty was much less. There was a whole lot less of the colors we have today than sex wasn't focused. And I watched it as a marketed product, and today, boosting upon a whole new world. And like I said at the beginning, I love what we're talking about it, because to hide it and not talk about it is foolishness of the past. But it is really the most important thing.
Is love the most important thing?
It is sex really the most important thing. As important as it seems the world is making it today.
Steve is asking you, I think, is love the most important thing?
Love is, but love is not sex either.
No.
Sex is sex.
Love doesn't have to include sex.
Well, the dick doesn't only differ whether it's whether or not by what it means. The dick really, if we break it out, as long as it's what we are, as long as the dick gets wet, it doesn't matter how it got wet. Now, each of our belief systems will adjust that reality, but the reality is, that's what I can't speak for the female because I've never been there in all the time.
Well, I don't think, if you don't mind me saying this, you can't speak for all the dicks either, for all the males either. Because not every dick on the planet will accept it from anywhere. It's just not how it is. So I think I'm basing my statement on the fact that I would put out on the other side of what you just said. That's associated with each individual's belief system. It's not directly associated with the nature of the male of the human species. And I think in all of my observation and what we're doing here in my own experiences, and my statement is probably very close to correct. It's not something that I want to argue, for say argue, but I hold to it when I'm showing different. But if we continue, I'm not here to fight with you guys. I'm here to learn and show. No, I hear that. No. I would just suggest to you that often what we think is our truths, these basic imprints of this is animalistic behavior, and it really is just like pistons in a ship. It has no consciousness to it. I would challenge that notion, because love is ready to reclaim and re-include sex in its all oneness. So sex is a part of that, an important part of that. It is certainly not the only part of that, but it is certainly, if we don't include it, we are setting ourselves up for a very problematic existence, because it is actually how we create life forms and babies. And so we do then create babies with, quote, problems or original sin, if you will, if we have a judgment on sexuality. So I'm saying, let God reclaim the sex that has been judged as not godly. I am invoking and hoping and intending that the God source reclaims all of it for her loving embrace.
Well said. Yeah.
I'm going to speak to everyone when I say, okay, when you're falling in love, that feeling. Isn't there sort of a fear that goes along with that? There's like this fear that it's sweeping you out of your comfort zone. And it's like, it's so good. It's like, it's too good to be true, right? That kind of thing. I haven't felt something this strong in God knows how long, and God, if I give myself to it, then who knows what's going to happen, Is it going to be taken away from me or whatever? I feel that love is the most powerful force in the universe. I don't think we can control it. I don't think it's something we can capture and put in a cage. I think it's something that comes along when it's ready to come along, and it chooses you. And we choose to open to it, which is to give ourselves to it. But I think that what happens is when we let that desire to control it get dysfunctional, then we use sex as the other type of energy that we need. Sex is, in comparison to love, sex is something we can control a lot more. We can go out and have one night stand. We can go out and get it laid, call someone up, have a fuck buddy, whatever. But it's a lot harder to find as readily available the love that you can control. You can't control it. It's everywhere.
And I think equating sex to animalistic tendencies or subhuman or less than us is actually quite dangerous.
In that capacity, I was saying we are more than animals. We are more than rabbits or walrus. We are more than the male calls himself God and the female calls himself bitch. A bitch is the dog you eat and the male is the dog. And I'm saying that that's part of the marketing, that's part of the lie that's been pumped on us. And so I'm not, I would be more inclined to say that not so much that it shouldn't try to control it, we should know it, shouldn't we?
Yes. So it depends on where we are as souls. Souls that are being marketed to as, indoctrinated that you are dogs and bitches and that whatever. Not picking on that community at all. But, because it can all be done tongue in cheek too, but the idea that we are just controllable flesh bots is obviously horrible. So then the salvation or the helping for that level of consciousness is you are more than that. You are children of God. You need to, if you're just being run by those impulses, you need to abstain or at least have some consciousness in there. Absolutely true. And after you spend some time in that, yes, I know I'm a child of God, I'm a piece of God, when you reestablish that firm connection with Source, then it's time to go back into the wasteland and reclaim that stuff that, has been relegated to hell, which is the body has been severely judged by spiritual traditions and severely judged sexuality. So we need to go in and make those things holy again. So I think there's an evolutionary step process to this process. It's not a blanket solution because souls are different. Some souls need to say, you need to back off and, you need to stop having multiple partners sexually because you're damaging yourself. And others, you could start opening to it now again. It depends on where we're at. There's not a cookie-cutter schooling program for souls in the universe. It depends on where we are at, I would suggest.
I would agree wholeheartedly with that, Bob. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing here is defining a new data set for the world we want to live in. And so I just step in and share my experience and raise the questions that I did. So
thank you.
I wanted to get it right this time.
Right.
And I'm not there about right.
Hello, this is Godself Jr. here.
Okay, I guess the caller line is working. That sounds like Louie. TalkShoe started working all of a sudden. Okay, all right. Gentlemen, please continue.
Really got it because there was Satan is doing something and I shot him right in the face.
Okay.
All right. So, now I guess TalkShoe's working now, and the callers, I guess they just, show up without us able to bring them on. So that's okay. Welcome, Louie. I'm glad you called in. What would you like to share with us tonight?
Well, no, not that.
Playing with yourself, it's not good.
I don't know what it's about, but I don't share that. Nothing. Christie just told me to call in. I'm I'm dealing with some jealousy right now for some strange reason. I'm trying to like fight it off.
I hear that.
And just a young lady that I was interested in at my job. Apparently, she got upset because I forgot her birthday after 2 weeks of knowing her. And you know, I try to like redeem myself. And she said I did, but you know, it's always been on and off her interest. Then she will like distance herself, and then she'll, you know, she always hot and cold. And then today at a holiday party, she comes dressed very lovely, showing off some stuff, and she goes and tells me she's going on a date and she might not be going home tonight. And I'm like, why the fuck would you tell me that?
Yeah, that's right. That's the game. That's her trying to get you to feel what you're feeling right now. So it's working.
Yeah. I mean, she kept asking, oh, what do you think how do you think I look? How do you think I look? And I'm like, okay, if I say she looks hot, she'll, you know, pump the brakes and be like, oh, we're just friends. And yeah, it's like, ugh. It's not like I hang out with her because I've given up trying because of the hot and cold. I got kind of missed.
Yeah.
But it's like, why the hell would you tell me, I might not be coming home dressed with your cleavage hanging, have your boob hanging out? I'm like, come on. Really? Jesus.
I mean, look.
And I'm all out of too.
Those are the actions, the behavior of the girl. You have to look at them like that because she's trying to get your attention. She wants that now attention. I mean, it's not.
Right.
Right.
I try not to get her because she plays that game. It's like, oh, you can watch me change. I don't mind. And I'm like, I don't because, you know, too many risks. I mean, because this is at my job, and I'm like, like, you know, it's like she's gonna let me watch, but that's all it's gonna be, and it's just this whole cock tease, and I'm tired. Like, it's just I'm tired of the cock tease. Don't tease me. Just if I'm not for you, I'm not for you. But don't give me. Don't try to like, you know, fuck with my head, you know? It's just, you know, that's the type of shit that gets me pissed off, and I start doing podcasts about fuck bitches. Right, Christie?
We're all bitches and hoes, man. I don't know what to say. Gentlemen.
Do you think there's, what if, I would suggest is like, instead of focusing on, you know, it's just going to sound silly maybe, but like ask questions, ask better questions, like where's the answer to this? Where can I figure this out? How could I better deal with this? Like start asking leading questions of yourself. How can I deal with my reaction to the bitches and the hoes and the fucking cock tease? What is that about? Why is that controlling me? How would Jesus deal with that girl?
Jesus will tell that bitch to fall back. Get away from me.
Okay.
Stay away from me, Satan.
Do you know that for sure? So why don't you ask Jesus, so, hey, how would you deal with this girl? Start asking the higher consciousness inside yourself, what is it in me that's reacting? Can I clear some of that? Can I feel more peaceful?
I know what is in me. It's because I am extremely interested in her as a person, as a sex object, and but it's like, come on. It's like when I was actively pursuing her, I would get close to the finish line, and then she would throw, oh, okay, well, we might, you know, I might not, I just want to be friends, because this, that, and the other thing, I get close, she keeps pushing the finish line further ahead, it's like, but it seems like you know, I guess she really wasn't interested in me, and then I don't know, but it just seems to me that she strings other guys along, but I just can't help but take it personally. You know what I mean?
So then the healing is with Louie. Why do I take these things personally? How could I learn something that so I wouldn't feel like I'm taking it so personally? Like Stephen said earlier, if you had a 4-year-old, 5-year-old little daughter that was being manipulative and lying to you about, I didn't eat the cookie, Daddy. No, I didn't have, would you be really pissed at her, or would you kind of think, okay, I understand now, honey, you did eat the cookie, and I know that it's okay to tell the truth. The attitude you would hold to her, I'm saying, really, listen for a second, the attitude you would hold towards your 5-year-old little daughter would be a holding space, healing attitude. Now, when you're dealing with an adult woman, and she's going through, unconscious stuff, that will help you not get so plugged in, because if you expect her to be fucking function rationally and normally in the way she should, it's going to drive you up the fucking wall, because people don't function rationally. They don't function rationally, normally, and do the right thing. It's not how it works.
Yeah. I mean, just point of reference, when I was 5 years old and I pulled that crap, I was beaten, so.
Okay, well.
Just kidding. There was no healing, there was no talking it out. It was like, you took that cookie, it's time for a 5-minute beating. I know it's 5 minutes exactly because, that's as much stamina as my parents had in whooping my ass.
Well, at least you gave them a workout once in a while.
Especially my father, because I was a son of a bitch. I would kick him in the shin, then run. But no. And
I love that. Anyway, Louis, it's all healable. It is healable, but it's frustrating as fucking hell. Ask better questions of God is what I do. I go, okay, this looks impossible. This situation looks impossible. I can't see the fucking light in this situation, but I know that Mr. Big G here, wherever he or she is, however you want to look at it, he's got a big perspective on this. Show me what I could tweak in myself and in the situation that could make it so I don't want to actually murder people or kill myself. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I'm not the problem.
Okay.
Why do I got to go?
Where do I gotta go? The frustration level. Show me, God, how you deal with the world, and you don't actually fucking annihilate the world every morning. Okay, God? I know you're fucking pissed. I know, God, you're fucking pissed at this planet, because we fuck up, we lie, we fucking poison the planet, we don't know how to get along, we're just fucking bastard little idiot bastard kids. How, God, do you not fucking annihilate us every morning when you get up? Can you show me some of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he's just biding his time so that way he could prove to whoever, like, see? You see?
No.
I have the choice now.
Seriously, he will share that with you, and he'll go, okay, here, I'll give you a dose of something that, why, I actually love my kids. Like when my little puppy comes up to me and she's done something bad, but when she's wagging her tail looking at me and enjoying, we can't help but laugh. It's like, I fucking love you, I let you in the bed, I would never do that with Mom and Dad because they're too big and too hairy at this point, It's like there's something there about that love that lets me, I forgive her craziness. So ask God how he forgives us, his children, are absolutely, come on, are we fucking nuts on this planet? Absolutely. If I was a parent of the human race, I would have pulled the plug. I would have said, that's it, fucking torch the place, start over. This sucks.
Yeah.
As
soon as he freaking touched that tree, it would have been a wrap. I'm like, what, bitch, what the fuck I told you? Motherfucker, you followed? Oh, fuck this. I would have been talking kangaroos.
That's it. We're not evolving. The next plan, I'm not evolving anyone past kangaroos. That's fucking it.
Kangaroos are adorable. So when they fuck up, I got at least, when kangaroos fuck up is when like, they fall off a cliff. They spit in my eye. I tell you, don't touch something. They touch it. Shit. Fucking humans are dumb.
So God has patience with us. Somehow.
Right.
So if you want to have patience, so if you want to have patience with, His created children, that's what I do. I go, God, what are you doing? So I'm opening I just want to. Sorry. Okay, fine. Open a dialogue with Him because you're not going to get good answers from other humans. Right. You might. But you're not. You got to have I need you to show me the plan because God made you. God made me. Source made us, and so that's the responsible parent that's supposed to help teach us. So we got to talk to him. And it's all healable. In my life, I've been in so many situations where I felt it impossible, and when I learned to, God has a bigger picture. He has a deeper understanding. And in a bigger place I can go with my heart and my mind, and then I can feel, a little bit of sanity in the world which used to depress the shit out of me. I mean, I spent 15 years going, get me the fuck off this planet,
I know. I mean, I just found somebody.
Yeah, all you gotta do is shoot him in the face, brother. If you shoot him in the face, it'll put hurt. The moment it's done.
If I was able to carry a 12-inch shotgun like you, the bitch would have had no face long time ago.
All right. I have to eat, and I got to go eat. It's getting for me. I love you guys. Thank you. Louis, God, Christie, Steven.
Thanks for having me on here.
Let's do it again.
Definitely. All right. Well, this technically is the last show of this year, at least for me, and I'm hoping that when I get back or before I get back, AFR will be back up or TalkShoe will allow us to do a show. If not, we always have Christie for backup, I suppose, but thank you all for sticking it out with us, and I know we got a late start, so thanks for hanging in there, Tobias and Steven and everyone else listening or streaming somehow.
Did we get a reporter? Stay tuned for your regularly scheduled news, and afterwards, David Letterman. Tonight's guest is Eugene Levy and Steve McQueen.
Quite a feat, by the way.
If I was at the helm, I would have muted you. But no, I'm just kidding. I have no control.
All right.
Appreciate guys.
God bless you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Okay, nighty night, Tobias. Right. Thank you. Love you.
Okay, love you guys.
Are you done too, Steven?
Oh, I thought we were all heading off.
Do you have any? Well, I mean, we could, wrap it up. If you have any more wisdom you would like to share, please be my guest.
Oh, no, I'm good. I need to go eat some dinner too.
All right, and I guess I can go make my cookies and all that fun, yummy stuff to pack for my road trip leaving tomorrow.
I got wisdom.
Yeah, baby, got some hummus on the way. Steven, I know you like the hummus.
I got some wisdom up the ass.
Okay, well, you go first, Louie. Bend over, honey. We'll practice with you first.
No. I take the wisdom out my ass.
All right, honey. So, yeah, I guess we'll just close it out. And is there anyone on the line right now that has anything you would like to share?
Just enjoy your road trip, and thanks for having me on tonight.
All right, awesome. Okay,
yeah,
well, thank you.
I appreciate you letting me on here, and I hope you enjoy your road trip too. Eat some good hummus.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful holy day season. You know, happy, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever else you celebrate or don't celebrate. And thank you again for sticking it out. Can somebody delete the Puerto Rican? No.
Man, fuck you all. I'm out.
I love you, Louie. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, and you, Russ, and everyone else. Special thanks, of course, to Christie, who got this together in a flash, and Noelle and Casey and everyone else who helped me get my Skype back to America. That was kind of funny. The first time I called into TalkShoe tonight, it like buzzed my computer and turned everything Chinese. And since everything was in Chinese, there was no way for me to fix it. So when you guys were having your locker room chat, they were working behind the scenes to help me fix it. So, woo! And thank you to Darius and Christy and everyone else who offered to record the show, because who knows what we're going to end up with here. So yeah, thank you all again for sharing your authentic selves, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday, a wonderful evening, a happy frickin' New Year, and all that fun stuff. Check the website at souljourneysradio.com to find out where we are when I get back next month. As it is now, provided that AFR is up, Tobias will be continuing the Thursday night shows as a guest host, so he'll be here at least every Thursday night. And there's a couple other people, a few other people that I was talking with as well that may guest host some other time slot, or the same time slot, but other shows. I'm not sure exactly which days or anything as of yet, but check the website. And thank you again to Noelle. He's sending me I think it's called a netbook or notebook or something like that, a little computer. So while I'm on the road this time, I'll be able to log in and check in, and then I'll be able to post whatever shows do occur on the website as well as on Facebook. You can go to Facebook and then search for Soul Journeys Radio, and there's a group and a page, so I'll also be posting them there as well. So, woohoo! Last show of the year, felt good, and thank you all for joining us here tonight. I don't know if the music thing's going to work, because it didn't earlier. I guess it made it so nobody could hear me anymore, so we'll just sing to ourselves. Or, we can close out with a happy birthday song. Happy birthday to you. Woo, everyone sing it. Happy birthday, dear Christy. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Happy birthday, Christy.
Thank you very much.
All right, love you guys. Thank you again.
Hey.
Good night.
Love you too. Have a good night.
Night.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.